Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to talk week three picks and predictions for the college football season. So, last week, had a get right week, right? Went 2 and 0. Tennessee easily covered against NC State. Texas, which is a bet that, most people across America did that bet, laid the 7 with Texas. So, covered on both of those to go to 4 and 3. I know I only did two games, but there were only two games on tap that I really felt good about wagering. So this week, week three, we've got four games. So stepping it up. First game we're going to start off with is Notre Dame at Purdue. So this spread opened at, to let everybody know, the spread opened at Notre Dame minus 12. Now we're down to Notre Dame minus 8. So everybody's on Purdue. So let's talk Purdue. Purdue comes into this game with what I believe is a very, very soft defense. They lost their best player defensively, Nick Scorton, to the transfer portal. He went to, I want to say he went to Texas A&M, if I remember right. He was their best player, an NFL prospect on the front seven. They got Keydran Jenkins, if I'm saying his name correctly. But that's basically it all in the front seven. On the back end, they don't have much of anything. I think this is a very, very soft defense. So Purdue, pretty much, they only go as far as how their offense takes them. They have Hudson Card behind a decent offensive line, but that's basically it. Purdue is not a strong team. They're not a team flush with talent. And Hudson Card, transferred in from Texas, was a kind of a big QB prospect coming out of high school. He's proven to be decent, but that's probably about the best thing you could say about him. Now you're going against Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame coming off a historic loss to Northern Illinois, lost at home to a MAC school off of a blocked field goal, which they probably weren't going to make it. I think it was like 62 yards or something like that. So Notre Dame, really poor performance in that game offensively. Riley Leonard, some people were talking about Riley Leonard, the quarterback. Should they bench him? Too soon for that. Riley Leonard is a gamer. He's a gamer who's in a new system, so it was going to start off a little slowly. That's natural. Things are going to pick up for him as he progresses through the season. And this is a get right game for Riley Leonard because Purdue's defense is soft. It's not very good. It's a get right game for these receivers. Notre Dame's problem for years has been the wide receiver position. I mean, what's the last time that Notre Dame had a good wideout? If you think about it, what? Golden Tate? I mean, it's been a long time since Notre Dame had a wide receiver who was worth anything. Jaden Greathouse, Bo Collins, a transfer from Clemson. These guys got to step up, man, because these guys are looking pedestrian out there. They've got to step up, become game breakers to help Riley Leonard out. Gray in the backfield, the running back, he's explosive as expected, but you got to have some receivers outside to balance out this offense. Defensively, these guys have been a brick wall as I expected them to be this season. They were a brick wall. They lost in Northern Illinois, but they were a brick wall in that game. Purdue, Hudson Card, mediocre talent, not really an explosive passing game, not really a tough defense. I don't think these guys are going to score a lot of points. So you're telling me you got to cover 8. I mean, how many points does Notre Dame? I think Notre Dame covers the 8 if they hit 21. So can Notre Dame hit 21 in this game? I believe so. I think Notre Dame is going to score more than 21. And I think I'm going to go ahead and lay the 8. So I'm going different than the public in this one because all this money's been going into Purdue to get that spread down from 12 to 8. West Virginia at Pitt. This is a rivalry game known as the Backyard Brawl. Back when these two were Big East competitors. So Pitt comes into this game with Eli Holstein at quarterback. He's a transfer from Alabama. He was another guy who was a big recruit coming out of high school. Went to Alabama, couldn't see the field because they got big recruits everywhere. Transfers to Pitt so he could start. Good move on his part, but there's not a lot of talent around him. Kanata Mumfield is their primary receiver. He's not a true number one in my book. They got Desmond Reed or Damon Reed at running back, undersized running back who's got wheels, game breaker. In that sense of if he's got some open field, he can go. Not a big back though, not a chain mover. And defensively, these guys are coming off a 1-point win against Cincinnati. Cincinnati did what they wanted, throwing and running. So you're not talking about a tough Pitt defense in this game. I didn't think they were going to be a tough defense coming into this. They lost some guys to the portal, and it's pretty much proved as advertised. Holstein at quarterback kind of gives them a little bit of a threat there, throwing the football. But against West Virginia team that, in my opinion, hasn't really lived up to their hype running the ball. CJ Donaldson's, Jaheim White, they've had their moments running the ball. I mean, they had a get right game last week. I forgot who they played. I think they played Albany. But they had a get right game last week. That doesn't really count. Against Penn State, they really didn't. They had a couple moments where they looked okay running the ball, but not really what I expected. And they're better than that. Their talent is better than that. Garrett Green can. This is a game where Garrett Green should be able to run it and throw it. This is a game C.J. Donaldson should probably go for 125 yards by himself, right? Defensively, they're better than what they've shown, and this is a game against a Pitt offense that isn't flush with weapons, where they should be able to contain this Pitt offense to a degree. I know the game is in Pittsburgh, and I know it's a rivalry game on the road. But West Virginia is the better team, and we're only talking about two. I'm going to go ahead and lay the two, and what I think is going to be a competitive game, but West Virginia should be able to cover that. Ole Miss at Wake Forest. Ole Miss favored by 21. I believe this game started out at 22, so it's gone down a bit. Maybe some money going in away for us. You go putting money in away for us. This is all about the backdoor cover, in my opinion, and maybe they see it, and that's why they're betting it. Wake Forest has no chance of winning this football game, so we could forget that, right? This game is all about, can Wake Forest stay within 21? Can Ole Miss avoid a backdoor cover, right? So Wake Forest offensively, Hank Bachmeier, transfer, he used to play at Boise State. Good QB. He actually, I think he threw for 400 last week. Um, you got Donovan Green, a receiver, Taylor Moore, a receiver. Two guys who've been there a long time. Definitely talented. Definitely can put up stats and have looked good this season. And then you've got the running back, Desmond, losing his name. Talented running back as well. Has been there a long time, proven that he can do it. Now, defensively, these guys don't have anything. Forget stopping Ole Miss in this game. Wake Forest is not going to stop Ole Miss in this game. The question is, can Ole Miss's defense stop Wake Forest enough to be able to cover the 21? Ole Miss this season has played Furman and Middle Tennessee State. 76-0, 52-3. Those are the final scores of those games. So 2 games in, Ole Miss is yet to allow a touchdown. Now, Ole Miss's defense isn't like that, right? Those are overmatched opponents. Wake Forest is a team that should be able to score some points in this game with those weapons that I talked about with Bachmeier and company. Can they keep pace with Ole Miss, an Ole Miss team that is going to press them? Because you know Lane Kiffin is going to have Jackson Dart slinging it to Trey Harris, and the running backs are going to be going crazy. Ole Miss is going to score on most of their drives. So because of that, I'm going to say Ole Miss avoids the backdoor cover and wins this game something like 49-20. I really like this used to be 21 and a half, and I'm glad it went down to 21. So at worst, we'll see a push if it comes to that. Disclaimer though, I would avoid putting this on a bunch of parlays, maybe straight wager it because of that backdoor. That backdoor cover is a threat in this game, but I'm going to still do this game because I think Ole Miss can win this something like 49-21, something like that. Wake Forest has weapons that they can score, but I don't think it will be able to score consistently. And then finally, Maryland at UVA. Maryland comes in this game a 1.5 point favorite. This used to be 2.5, so some money going in there to UVA. UVA's got Anthony Calandri, dual threat quarterback, run it, throw it, and he's a gunner. He's a gunner, man. He'll sling a pass for a 40-yard touchdown, and then he'll throw 40 yards downfield for a pick. He's a wild card in this game. Definitely has talent though, and he's got Malachi Fields as his number one receiver to throw it to. Maryland got cooked by Michigan State's number one last week as they lost on a walk-off field goal. But on the same note, UVA got cooked last week by Wake Forest, his number one Donovan Green, and Maryland has Ty Felton, who is a receiver who's been going off this season. So this is a game where I see Maryland with Billy Edwards taking over a quarterback for Talia uh, at QB. This is where Billy Edwards to Ty Felton, Calandria to Malachi Fields. I think those are going to offset. So now it's the others. Who are the others that can do it? Roman Hemby and Colby McDonald give Maryland a decent running game. UVA doesn't have a running back. UVA doesn't really have a lot of talent defensively. Maryland's got some guys on defense that they should look a little better than what they played this season. So that could start to, surface and show itself in this game. So I'm going to take Maryland on the road. They're just a better team, more talented team, and have a running game and a more balanced team. So I'm going to take Maryland on the road, and I'm going to lay the 1.5. So that wraps it up. 4 games on tap. Keep in mind on that disclaimer on the Ole Miss backdoor cover, so watch yourself on that one. But anyways, if you like the content, please like, follow, subscribe, all of that. As you're going to see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.